Well, hello neighbors, John, your whiskey neighbor here, and welcome to another recycled review. This will be 12 whiskeys in about 12 minutes. Okay, as I said in the opener, this will be sort of a recycle review. I've now finished off these bottles and can maybe talk about, did they evolve, did they change in my experience? But before I do, I must give a big thanks to Roy at Aquavitae. He is the real deal, absolutely the inspiration for this video. And if you haven't checked him out, go out on YouTube, find him. He drinks better whiskey and has richer thoughts. So Roy, thank you for this great idea. So this will be about 12 whiskeys in as quick a time as I can. I'm not going to review them. I already have reviewed them. So this is, now that I've finished the bottle, would I buy it again? I thought pretty appropriate heading into the Christmas season. So start with the Scotch. So this is Glendronach, just their 12-year expression. And, I really enjoy this whiskey. It's bottled at 43%. It's in PX or Oloroso sherry casks is where it spends its life. And it really picks up those red fruit notes. Still balances some caramel. I can still find some wood in here. You know, in Canada, it's actually a really good value too. So definitely buy that again. Got another one that I like here. This is Highland Park. This is now the kind of the northern a little island, Orkney, in Scotland. This one, bottled at 43%, also their 12-year-old expression. Lightly peated, so it's not a full peat. It's not a 45, 50 or beyond part per million. This is sort of probably in that 20 range. Also, it's a little, I would say, more earthy and flowery than some of the creosote peat that comes from other places. Would I buy this again? Absolutely. I got another Scotch here. Actually, looks like most of my Scotches are okay. Auchentoshan 3-wood. This is also a full sherry. This I would say kind of connects probably to the Glendronach 12. I would put them in the same kind of place. Although this spends some time in ex-bourbon, it's not a full sherry bomb. I like this one. 43%. But I buy it again. This one's a little costly. Where I am right now, it's a full $20 or $30 more than the Glendronach 12. I used to say absolutely. This was one of mine, always on the shelf. Now, I probably won't buy it for a while, and then I will because I'll remember that I like it. Another kind of an entrant Scotch. This is Glendronach. This is their 10-year, kind of their base. You know, they're really well known for taking their Scotch and then finishing it in other barrels. Quinta Rubin, La Santa, I can't think right now, a Star. But this is sort of like you start with this 10-year ex-bourbon, no sherry, nothing like that. It's just a clean Scotch. So, you know, as an early Scotch or an entrant Scotch, this one's very, very aptly, very fruity to me and floral. It's good. It is, and having picked it up this year, I was reminded that I do like it. I probably won't buy this bottle for quite some time. There are other interesting things out there. Sticking around in Scotch. Old Pulteney, 12-year-old. This is the county of Wick. I'm trying to think of where they are. North Edge, still in the mainland in Scotland, but right on the sea, of course, which you can tell. I love the bottle, right? I love the compass on the bottom, everything about it, really good. I like Old Pulteney. This is one that gets better in the bottle, absolutely. It starts good. It's got lots of good flavor, but I find as you get into the bottle, some of the edges, some of the alcohol fades, which often happens in a bottle, but some of that salty, briny character that is in here really starts to come out and really cuts in with some of the toffee caramel that's there. Well, maybe not toffee caramel, but vanilla. Anyways, I will be buying more Old Pulteney. Well, let's go to States. This is Jack Daniel's single barrel. So it's not a, this isn't a barrel strength or anything like that. It's just a single barrel select. It is bottled at 47% alcohol. This one surprised me in that it's good. This is really good. It's got nice, strong caramel, but a little bit of peanut or nut, maybe some nut in there, and yet some oak. It's a little brash. But there's a lot of flavor in here. I really did like it. When it came kind of midway through this bottle, I did like it a lot. Where I am, it costs too much, so I'm not going to buy it again for a while unless I see it on sale. But if you haven't had it and you like some of the Jack products, this is a good pick. It's a delicious whiskey. I'm probably not buying it again. Basil Hayden. Okay, so Basil Hayden, part of the Jim Beam line. This one is... okay, so this one's bottled at 40%, which is interesting because it's a high rye bourbon, which means that when you spend time with it, there is some of that spicy, grassy notes that are there. But this one is really, whether it's their cask selection or how they handle this, is it's really smoothed out. It's really... not blended, I just mean like this is a Kentucky straight, right? Oh, doesn't say straight. Just bourbon. Interesting. Anyways, it's certainly not a blend. It's a bourbon, and their mash bill's high in rye. It's very tasty. It's very nice. I know, brother-in-law, this is a favorite of yours. For me, for the value, this is priced out of what I want to chase down, so I probably won't buy it again. Not for a while. Same line in a way. Booker's. Oh, I thought this was Booker's. Okay. Not really in the same line. So just like Basil Hayden's got good flavor, but it's, I don't know, tucked up in a way that doesn't excite me. Everything about Booker's hits the notes that I'm looking for. Now, if you're new to bourbon or new to whiskey, don't buy a bottle of Booker's. It'll pick you up, toss you around, smash you on the ground, and you'll be like, what did I just have? And it'll be tough to appreciate all of the high, like from the candy apple through the caramel toffee to the cinnamon spice and back into the oak. I find Booker's is the full deal, but it is brash, it is rough, it's not for everyone. I will definitely buy another bottle of Booker's, even at the prices they want nowadays. I think that's it. Oh no, I got one more American here. Tin Cup. Tin Cup, I love the bottle. I love the story behind, I've kept the cup, so it's not going to be in my recycle there. It's bottled at 42%. This is a whiskey, not a bourbon. And I think the reason for that is there's some, like, after it's been, mash bill together, corn, I'm going to say rye and barley, I don't remember. And they distill it. Then after aging it, when they're kind of blending it up, they put in a bit of what I've heard Stranahan's Single Malt. And so because they're blending after that, they can't be called a bourbon. That's what I understand. If I'm wrong, let me know. Is this good? It's good. It is nice to pour. Lots of cinnamon in it. Didn't really change much throughout the bottle. There are other things that excite me more, so I probably won't buy it again. But it's an okay whiskey. Looks like I got a couple of Canadians in here. Here's a unique one. Probably not many of you will be able to buy this one. This is from Last Mountain. That's, I think, Lumsden, Saskatchewan. This is bottled at 45%, and this is a 100% wheat whiskey. And, it's pretty young, still like 4 to 5 years, but it's sweet, full of honey, full of creaminess. Surprised me. Would I buy it again? I will buy more from Last Mountain because it was good enough that I want to try some of their single casks. I really want to try their rye because this was a great product. I don't think I need to buy it again, but I did enjoy it. So I'm not buying it again. I don't know. Okay, this is from last year's rare release of the Northern Bourbon collection. Northern Bourbon collection, if you don't know, in Canada is from the J.P. Weiser group or the Corby group. There's Pike Creek, Gooderham and Worts, Lot 40, and then a release of one of the J.P. Weisers. Another rare release is unique each year. So last year, not this one, but last year, that was this little Trinity, which is 17-year-old, but only 3 grain instead of the 4 grain that's used in Gooderham Worts. This was a delightful Canadian whiskey. This took your typical kind of corn sweetness and had deep caramel and lengthened the experience with a little more time in wood. I like this one a lot, and I would buy it again, but I won't because it's a fun memory to have, and I'll buy this year's, which is 11 Souls. So if you haven't had this, I'd buy it. I'm not buying another bottle of this, although I might have another bottle of it somewhere. Bring it home, 12th whiskey, is J.P. Weiser's Dissertation. This is part of the Rare Cask series. This is connected to the Master Blender, Dr. Don Livermore's Dissertation. He did some work in number 2, number 4 charred oak, as I understand it. He kind of looked at the interplay of wood and how that really gets into the flavor of whiskey. After he's done all of that testing and experimenting, he also got to play with them and blend up this whiskey, Dissertation. It's bottled at 46.1%. It's a high rye. This one's like at least 80, I should know the numbers, but at least 80% rye. So, I mean, you know, in the States, you only have to be 51% rye to be called nothing but a rye. So, this definitely qualifies as a rye, being 80. I thought it was even as high as 83 or 86, but lots of rye. Is this good whiskey? It's awesome whiskey. If you live in Ontario and you haven't had this and you like Canadian, but rye, it's going to be peppery and spicy, you should buy this. Would I buy it again? In a heartbeat. This is a lovely, awesome whiskey, and I would buy it again. So that is my 12 whiskeys that I thought I'd go through. I don't know how I'm doing with time because I can talk for a while, but I appreciate you joining me, and maybe it gave you a few thoughts in what you might want to pick up for the holiday season. Cheers.